I'm Sharuth Loth, and I am a part owner in Shadowbrook Farm and Dutch Girl Creamery. We grow vegetables and have a grade A goat dairy and cut flowers as well. And I'll let you introduce yourself first.
I'm Krista Dittman, and my husband and I own Branched Oak Farm, and we have a certified organic grass-based dairy, and we make cheese and sell farm products at farmers markets as well as wholesale and on our on-farm store.
And then together we have Farmstead First, which is a cheese processing facility, which is on Branched Oak Farm, that we set up together as an LLC.
So Farmstead First is a management entity. It's a production marketing cooperative that has allowed us to individually expand our businesses by using the services that Farmstead First provides. So Farmstead First owns and manages the cheese-making equipment that's in the plant and leases space back from the landowner, and then we sublease that equipment back to ourselves. And the other services that Farmstead First provides are educational. For ourselves, we've been able to secure educational money to
Have cheesemakers, yeah.
have cheesemakers come and do workshops. We've attended workshops. We've gone to the American Cheese Society annual conference to learn more about the business and network with other professionals.
Traveled a lot. We traveled to a bunch of states to see other producers doing similar cheese-making operations so that we could learn from them.
So there's a lot of overlap. I like to think of our businesses as a Venn diagram, where we each have our own separate part of the circles, but then we share the intersection of Farmstead First.
That processing facility, yeah.
I think those were individual decisions. And at first, I was doing solely farmers market and at some small grocery stores in town. And as our products have gotten out there and people have begun to know us, we've had we've had chefs come and look for our products, other grocery stores, specialty cheese shops. So it continues to grow and develop.
Yeah, I think largely that first initial research that we did when we were just starting our business plan, and then when we got the grants, we did a bunch of traveling, and we went and saw a lot of other producers all across the country and a couple different countries as well, but mostly Vermont and California and Wisconsin. You went to Wisconsin, and those places we saw that there were different types of marketing that cheese producers, small-scale cheese producers were using, and it had a lot to do with where they were located. For example, if you were in a rural setting, you tended to use a distributor and do more wholesaling because you weren't as close to the market. If you lived closer to a metropolitan area, it was a lot easier to do the direct sales and work with chefs and directly, and without having that middle person to distribute for you. So, and because my husband and I had already been producing vegetables for 5 years ago, was over 10 years, about 11 years or so, we knew that direct marketing, so that was an obvious starting point for the cheese as well. Farmers markets and working directly with chefs at restaurants and some small grocery stores. But I think the newer part of the cheese venture is getting your name out there and having important cheese people try it and like it, going to these different conferences where there's competitions and a lot of talking to other producers, and we got our cheese into a couple nice fancy cheese shops in Chicago and Denver, and that really helped. It's not large volume to those types of operations, but it's very important sales because they get talked about, they get picked up by other restaurants in those big cities and hopefully on menus. And so, yeah, it's been evolving. It's something that's been evolving over time.
I think our businesses, we are following the market pull of what customers want, and our customers really love quality food, and they talk about it.
Yeah,
it's an important part of their lives. So word of mouth has been a huge.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for our type of product. happy customers, I think.
Yeah.
Well, when we did our business plan, I mean, they talked about that, and so I think we did a little bit of research just for the business plan, but it always felt kind of alien because, you know, they're talking about such a different marketing environment than what we're talking about. Being small scale, we're not going to go through chain grocery stores, and we're not going to be, you know, selling commodity type agriculture products. So it was always a lot smaller. So it was perfect for us to start with local sales because our volume was so tiny.
And I think the concept of having a flavor of place, that concept of terroir, is really important just because people want to have a choice of what they eat. You know, you can go to a large grocery store, buy quality products that you can buy all across the country. But if you want a unique experience, you know, you have to build those relationships and you have to kind of find those products and producers. And so I think offering a choice to our customers who are looking for something different. There are people out there who want something that you just can't typically find.
Yeah, and the story is such a huge part of that too. I mean, I think people are they have this hunger for the rural experience through their food right now. And so if you have a story that they are attracted to, then they'll want to buy your product. Somehow that seems to be the case.
Or somehow how they can connect to you. When we first started this, we joked that we did a lot of rural counseling.
Yeah, that was our term. We were doing rural counseling today.
Because as we would meet people and talk to them, they would inevitably be sharing all about their stories and about spending the summer on the farm with their aunt or their grandpa.
How they remembered grandpa. Or
how they remembered churning butter, or how their grandma always kept some kind of farmer's cheese going, or that an aunt made cottage cheese. And so we would hear all these stories, and somehow, not so much anymore, but it was this huge way to connect, or for people to connect to us by
kind of reliving some of either their fantasies about wishing that they lived on a farm and made cheese, or maybe, you know, some family member of theirs that had made cheese. So it was kind of funny, but cute also to see that we were doing that for them. That was a nice service that we provided.
That wasn't on the business plan.
No, that was brand new. We just discovered it.
Maybe we should have charged for that.
Yeah.
That was a gratis service. Well, I think Farmstead First continues to develop as our businesses kind of change and grow or contract, and our individual operations define what we do. You know, I think Farmstead First has served certain purposes, and I think it's going to grow and change to maybe not expand, but grow in a different way to meet our needs, because we are the consumers.
Right, we're our own first customers, basically. And we always knew that Farmstead First was basically a way for us to get started in the business. And so even when we first started it, we realized it might not be something that continued forever, because there might be a time when it wasn't necessary anymore. Or it could evolve into something different, or maybe one of us would take it over and just have like a educational facility and pilot facility for new producers to come and use to start up their new enterprises. So, you know, there's a lot of possibilities. And I think when we started it, the concept of it, we always knew that it would change. So it was kind of bred into it somehow.